Hello, my name is Sally Pinto, and I'm the Program Director for the Yonkers NORC, Neighborhood Naturally Occurring Retirement Community. We serve seniors 60 plus in Northeast Yonkers. We are under the auspices of WJCS and the Yonkers Office for the Aging. We also have a resource specialist and a nurse on staff. We conduct virtual programming in partnership with the Yonkers Public Library on a daily basis. Enjoy the program.
Go ahead and get started. Just remember, if you have some kind of water or some kind of drink with you for hydration, and also dumbbells are optional or water bottles are optional. You don't need to use any weights if you don't want. Okay, so let's start with our regular. We're going to start with our chin tuck. You're either standing or seated nice and tall for that spine. And we're going to go ahead. We're going to just gently turn that chin back for 10, 9, very small movement, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. But now we're going to turn our head left to right or right to left, whichever side you want to start. 5 per side, 10 total. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and turn to one side, back to center, and then the other side. Center. 3, center, 4, center, 5, center, 6, center, 7, center, 8, center, 9, center. Good. From here, we're going to go into 1 minute each for one round of our warm-up moves. We're going to start with marching in place. If you would like to hold your weights in your hand, you can. So either you can do this standing or seated. I'm going to do 30 seconds seated and 30 seconds standing. Okay. Your weights or water bottles are optional. I'm just going to keep a body weight for me. Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, and 1. Let's march it out. So remember, you're trying to work on that opposite hand foot pattern. So as my right leg goes up, my left arm goes up. Okay. If you're seated with me right now, you're trying to keep a nice tall spine. And remember, at 30 seconds, I'm going to stand up just to do the remainder of the minute from a standing position. All right, keep it going. We're halfway. I'm standing up for the rest. Next, we're going to go into our lateral side bends. We're going to do that for a minute. I'm going to do the first 30 seconds seated there, and then the second 30 seconds standing. Just warming up right now. We're going to go into lateral side bends in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so side bends, just side bend and side bend. Okay, so this is body weight here. We're just trying to stretch out those sides. Going for a minute here, go at your own pace, do what feels comfortable. Feel a nice deep stretch from your hip all the way up to your shoulder. We're almost 30 seconds in. Okay, here's 30 seconds. I'm just going to finish off the remaining 30 standing. And then we're going to go to those cross-body punches. So we're going to get a rotational movement next. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the first 30 seconds seated, second 30 seconds standing. And then we're going to go on to our first block. I have them set up like last week. So we have 4 9-minute blocks. Okay, we're going to go to our cross-body punches in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so cross, cross. Okay, so feel that nice twist through the spine, that rotational movement through our torso. We're just about halfway through this one. Okay, we're 30 seconds in. 15 more seconds here, and then we're gonna explain our first block, first 9-minute block. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so our first block is going to be our sit squat to bicep curl. Okay, so if you're doing it from the standing position, as you sit down, you come up into your curl right here, stand up. Okay, so this is your standing variation. Okay, and if you're seated, you're going to give me leg extension, curl. Okay. That's your seated variation. I'm going to do the first round seated, okay? Your second exercise is going to be a side step with a lateral bend. So you can use a light pair of dumbbells or go body weight here, okay? So stand is going to look like this, and just tapping out to the sides, okay? And then the last one is our bent over row. So seated, we're here, and then standing, we're here, okay? There are 3 exercises. We're going to complete 3 rounds, 45 seconds each, starting with our sit squat to bicep curl or your alternating leg extension to bicep curl. I'm going to start with the seated variation first, as always. All right, get ready. Here we go. In 3, 2, and 1. Let's begin. Okay, so leg extension. I'm keeping that foot flexed when I'm in the seated position so I can really activate the quadricep muscle at the top, on top of the thigh there. You get a lot of bang for your buck with these combination moves, combining upper and lower body movements together. Makes it just work a little bit harder. Good, already just 10 seconds left here. And then we're going to go to our lateral raise to side step. 3, 2, and 1. So from that seated position, we look like this. And if it bothers you to bring your elbows out to the side, you can go into a press here. Okay, press, press. Okay. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Side step and lateral raise. So my elbows are bent. You can always, even if you start with weight, water bottles or dumbbells, and you find that it's getting to be a little too much, you can always just get rid of the dumbbells and finish off body weight too, you know? Should feel those shoulders working. Working the top of the shoulder joint, as well as we're getting some hip abduction, which means we're working those glute medius, the stabilizing muscles. Helps us with our balance. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. Okay, next we have bent over rows. So you can do these seated or standing. Okay, I'm on the edge of my chair for my seated ones. I'm going to bend forward, trying to keep my spine straight. Okay, and I'm looking at a point forward in front of me. Here we go, let's row. Pull those elbows back and up. Think about your back muscles contracting right now, okay? Kind of like that wrap around the sides of your rib cage in the back there. On either side of your spine. And somewhat under your armpit. That's the area in the back that is the prime mover to this exercise. We have 10 more seconds here, and we're going to go back to our sit squat and bicep curl, or your alternating leg extension and bicep curl. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, that completes round 1. All right, so we're going to go back to the top. This time I will do these standing. Okay, please stay seated if that's best for you. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We start this first one, drive it up, tap down. Remember, you should be able to wiggle your toes in your shoes, because when you're standing up, you're really pressing through the heels of your foot. That's going to get you the most glute activation. Work at a pace that's good for you, okay? It's not about how fast you do them. It's about just getting a nice quality rep, okay? I'm really thinking about the muscles you're working. 10 more seconds here. Last 5, 2, and 1. Okay. Going on to our lateral side step with our lateral raise. Optional weight here. Seated or standing. In 3, 2, and 1. So we're moving from the shoulder joint and the hip joint and the ankle joint. Remember, you can always drop the weights if they start to get heavy. You can always go overhead if this, gives you any issues. You could do this instead if you just feel like it's hurting to go out this way, okay? 10 more seconds. Should feel the tops of your shoulders. 3, 2, and 1. Whew, shake that out. All right, next we have bent over rows, seated or standing. Feet are about hip width apart. We're going to bend over and begin. So I'm trying to keep my neck in line with my spine. So I'm looking at like some point in front of me on the floor. I'm thinking about those back muscles. Keeping the elbows close to the rib cage. Moving through the shoulder and the elbow joint here. 5 more seconds, and then we're going to go through our final round through. 2, and 1. Okay. One more time through. Back to that sit squat to bicep curl, or alternating leg extension to bicep curl. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Back up. Hands hip wide. Ten more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Good. We have our side step to lateral raise next. With or without weights. Let's get ready. In 3, oops, now 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Really hitting the tops of the shoulders here. We're also working on coordination and hitting those glute knees by our side to side steps here. I find these to be tough. I feel my shoulders work a lot on these. Ten more seconds. We're all done with these. 3, 2, and 1. Woo. Shake that out. Okay. We have bent over rows, seated or standing next. And then we're going to break. Our first 9-minute block is up. We're going to move on to our second. Here we go. Feet are hip width apart. Bend down and row it. Trying to keep a nice neutral spine. Keeping that neck in line with the spine. Halfway right here. Talk to those back muscles. That's what's moving these. 10 more seconds. 2, and time. Excellent. Okay, that's our first block, guys. Moving on to our second one. I'm going to show you your variations. You can get a drink here. We've got our total body extension, which I introduced to you last week. So from a seated position, you're on the edge of your chair, okay? Your arms kind of pull back behind you, and so you go from this, like almost like you're bowing down or hinging. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of momentum to this. You know, think of like a swing set. You know how like you swing, like you're like that, okay? Standing feet are hip to shoulder width apart. I'm going to sink those hips back and then straighten up. Okay, and then you can come up onto your toes to increase that challenge even more. Okay, you'll really feel your core engage as you're on your toes with your arms up overhead. The same can be done from that seated too. You can come up onto your toes here. Okay, all right, so second exercise is our goalpost slide to overhead press. So it looks the same seated or standing. We did this last week. We're gonna open up and with our knuckles back, we're gonna press it up, okay? And then close, all right? So we're getting all 3 heads of the shoulder while doing this, okay? The front, the back, and the middle, okay? The last one is our tricep kickbacks. Okay, so if you're seated, you're bent over on the edge of your chair here, kicking back, standing, bent over, kicking back, okay? All right, next block. So we're gonna start with total body extensions. Again, first round, I'll be seated. Okay, 45 seconds is going on the clock. Let's get ready in 3, 2, 1, begin. Okay, so these are gonna really, if you're coming up on your toes, you're gonna feel your balance challenge, especially, and your heart rate's gonna go up. So find that core control within your body, okay? Think of squeezing your glutes and your core. And if it becomes too much to stand on your toes, that's okay, you don't have to. But those arms are like a pendulum. They're just swinging like a swing set, okay? So you're getting this nice shoulder mobility work as we work on our cardiovascular conditioning and core control here. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Our next one, optional weights. Okay, we're going to go into that goalpost fly, and then we're going to press it up. Okay, you can do this body weight too. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. So we're going to open it up, press it up, bring it back. Okay. Keep that core tight. Standing up or sitting up, nice and tall. Again, you're working the front of the shoulder, the top of the shoulder, and the back of the shoulder with this one. We're almost there. We have 10 more seconds. And then we're going to go into tricep kickbacks. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Shake it out. All right. So now for your tricep kickbacks, just like our bent over row, you're gonna bend over into that position there. Okay, but now we're just kicking back from the elbow joint to straighten the arm. Elbows close to the rib cage. Ready and begin. So feel that tricep engagement. Even if your arms are body weight, you can tell those triceps to squeeze and engage when your arms are lengthened out straight here. After this exercise, that is our first cycle through. We've got 2 more sets to go through just like that. And I will be standing for the next 2 sets. You guys know. Good, make that mind muscle connection. Talk to the muscles. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, back to the top and we are on those total body extensions again, so this one is body weight. Okay, if you're seated, you're coming to the edge of your chair. Okay, so you have room to bend forward. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. Feet are about hip to shoulder width apart. And remember, if it becomes too much to come up to your toes, you can remove that element of the exercise. Like I said, there's a lot of momentum in this exercise. Those arms are just along for the ride, just kind of rotating through 180 degrees through the shoulder joint. Should feel that heart rate coming up, especially if you're standing. 5 more seconds. 2, and 1. Okay. Next, we have our goal post shoulder flies. All right. Here we go. In 3, 2, and 1. This is very effective if your body weight as well. Good, we're halfway through this one. Then we're gonna finish off the second round with those tricep kickbacks. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, shake that out. The tricep kickbacks next, seated or standing, and the weight is optional. Okay, get ready. Feet are about hip to shoulder width apart. We're gonna bend it over and pull those elbows back and kick back. Trying to keep that spine nice and straight. With or without the weights, you're really just talking to those triceps. And when your arms are lengthened, you're saying squeeze to the back of that arm. Get that blood flow to the muscles. That's what helps with muscle atrophy, right? Is the contractions taking place on the muscles, moving through the joints in the body. 10 more seconds here, and we're gonna go back to the top for our final round in this block. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, one more time through. Body weight with these total body extensions, seated or standing. If you're seated, you're close to the edge of your chair. Okay, remember, you can always remove coming up to your toes if it messes with your balance here too much. There we go. Begin. So what makes this such a core challenge is that we use this momentum to come up to this over top position, and then we kind of have to dead stop on our tippy toes up here, which just creates that element of having to really engage the core to stop us from that movement. We're almost done. We have 10 more seconds. 2, and 1. Good. Shake it out. Should feel a little elevated from that one. We're going to go into our goal post fly to overhead press next in 3, 2, and 1. Remember, you can do this without weights. Your shoulders are working in multiple directions with this movement. Got this rotational element, this vertical element. We're past halfway. And then we go into tricep kickbacks for the final time. And then we break and move on. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and time. Okay, Get ready for tricep kickbacks, seated or standing, with or without weight. We're gonna bend forward, feet are hip width to shoulder width apart, keep that spine long, and keep your neck in line with the spine, and begin, kick back. Talk to the triceps. Get a water break after this one. And I'll explain the third 9-minute block. Excellent, we have 10 more seconds here. That's 5, 2, and 1. Excellent. Okay, take a rest. Get a drink. Make sure you stay hydrated. Okay, so the next one we are going into is like with last week, we have those static lunges, okay? So from a standing position, let me go over this first. If you want, you can hold on to the back of a chair here. Okay, you're stepping back into a lunge position here, all right? And then, I'm gonna show you this way for a second. You're stepping back. I want you to make sure you have space between the front leg and the back leg, okay? Don't be like railroad ties. Don't be on one railroad tie with your feet. Be on one foot is on one railroad tie, the other one's on the other. That's gonna give you balance, to help you with stability, okay? So that you can lunge and come up, okay? You can hold on to the side of a chair so that you can have a little bit of assistance there. And you're really gonna be feeling it. Where you should be feeling it is through the glute here and the front of the leg, okay? So you're working the front and the back of the leg with this exercise. We're gonna do 45 seconds on one side and 45 seconds on the other. Your seated version of this is on the edge of your seat. You're going to lift up, press through the heel of the foot, bring it back and back down, okay? All on one leg, and then the next 45 seconds is the other. We're pairing these with seal jacks. Okay, so after we do both sides, we've got seal jacks here, okay? So seating and standing, okay? All right, so let's go ahead. We're starting with our static lunges, or for, I'm going to do the seated first, our seated leg press, single leg. Here we go, in 3, 2, and 1, okay? And with these can be, especially if you're doing the standing, you know, these burn. Lunges are hard, okay? So if 45 seconds is too long, that's okay. Just do what you can, all right? And recover, take a little bit of extra recovery time. I'm really trying to press through the heel of my foot with this seated variety. And that's because that's gonna help you get into your glute here. With this seated variety, this one's hard too. I feel the top of my leg and my butt working right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, shake it out. We've got to even out and get that other leg, okay? Deep breath, we're gonna get ready here in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So whether I'm seated or standing, I'm really trying to keep that core engaged. I'm sitting up nice and tall for this seated variation here. And I'm pressing through the heel of my foot. This is a good one. Highly effective, whether seated or standing, ironing out muscle imbalances that we may have, that we all have to some degree. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now we're gonna go into our seal jacks. So remember, our arms come back, our knuckles are facing behind us. Okay, we're working on posture muscles here, squeezing those shoulder blades together as we tap side to side. 3, 2, and 1. And for my advanced people, you know, you can throw a couple regular seal jacks in there. you know, jump it there a little bit. After this exercise, that completes 1 round. Okay, so we'll be moving on to round 2 here, and I will go to a standing position. Remain seated if that's best for you. Working those glute needs again, inner and outer thigh by these lateral taps. 3, 2, and time. Okay, back to the top. All right, so we're either doing that seated knee raise to leg press on one leg or your static lunge. Remember, you can hold on to the side of the chair if you need to for these. 3, 2, and 1. So we're just coming down, up. I'm really working on that front leg. You may feel a little bit of you know, work on that back leg, but the prime mover is this front leg. Okay, I'm pressing through the heel of my foot. That's going to help me engage the glute. And as I'm lowering down, I'm really working that quad to control myself. So the lowering part, you're getting more of the quadricep muscle. The elevation part, you're getting more of the glute part, the glute, the butt muscle. 3, 2, and 1. Shake that out. You should notice your heart rate goes up on these two. These are big muscles we're working here. The legs and the glutes are very large muscles in the body. 3, 2, and 1. Remember to have that space between your front foot and your back foot if you're doing the standing variation. You don't want to have your foot directly behind the front one because that's going to compromise your stability. If this standing variation is too much, that seated one is phenomenal. That knee raise to leg press, that's a great exercise. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Seal jacks are next. All right. Working on those posture muscles in the back of the shoulder here. Okay, as well as those stabilizing muscles. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Seated or standing. And if you're advanced, you might throw a jack or 2 in, okay? You tailor it to what works good for you. We also get a nice stretch through the front of the shoulder and the chest by doing this as well. 5 more seconds. And we have 1 more round to go through. And time. Woo. Okay, I'm feeling that. Catch your breath. 1 more round of split squats or your seated knee raise to leg press. Okay, all on one side first. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Final round. Remember, it's about control and good form, or we're trying to get them done really fast. Quality over quantity. Stay really present with your body. Feel how it takes core control, whether you're seated or standing here, to lift that knee up or bring yourself up and down in that lunge position. We only have 10 more seconds left on this side. Last 5, 2, and 1. Go to shake it out. Go to even out, get that other side. Get ready. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're all done with lunges or leg presses after this 25 seconds we have left here. These are probably our hardest ones of the day. I mean, I guess that's really subjective, but for me, I'd say they are. 10. That's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, shake that out. Last round of seal jacks, then we break, get a water drink, and we have one more block to go through. Seal jacks in 3, 2, and 1. Jack it out. Find your rhythm, okay? Whatever works for you here, seated, standing, throwing a couple regular in. Last time I was doing 4, 3, 2, 1, 2 jacks. You could do any kind of rhythm you want with that, okay? We're past halfway. We rest after this. 10 more seconds. 5 more seconds. 2, and time. Good. Rest, get a drink. We have one more 9-minute block, and we are finished. Okay, so get a drink. This one is, I didn't change anything from last week on this one. I like the way it was, so I kept it the same. I liked all the ones last week, but I tried to switch things up just to keep them interesting a little bit, you know. But our first one is that butt kicker mid-row. Okay, so most likely this one's body weight. Again, it's like you're rowboating, okay? So, and if you're seated, you're at the edge of your seat and your legs are extended a little bit long so you can toe tap back, okay? So this is gonna work your hamstrings, the back of the leg, and also your middle and upper back, okay? So from standing, you're trying to bring that heel up to the glute, okay? So that's our first one. Our second one is that heel tap to alternating overhead press, okay? So from a seated position, my knees are at 90 and tap, and I'm doing opposite, tap, 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 okay? So standing, opposite hand and foot, tap, 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 tap. Okay, you're challenging your coordination as well as working on those shoulders and your calves. And then our last one is side step sumo squats. So from a seated position, you can do side step, leg extension, leg extension. That's your movement, okay? Standing, here we are, okay? All right, last time, our last circuit of the day, starting with our butt kickers to mid-row, okay? So body weight row here, and seated position for me for the first round. Here we go, in 3, 2, and 1, let's go. So I'm toe tapping back, I'm on the edge of my seat, and it's like I'm rowing oars on a rowboat. I'm feeling the heat today. I've got a good sweat going on. I started today, I put my watch on, my Garmin watch, to see what my calorie burn was. All right, and I put it on late. I forgot to put it on right away. Hold on, let me get the robust on this one. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, next we're going into that alternating heel tap to overhead press. So it's opposite hand and arm pattern here. You can do this body weight. Here we go. It's 3, 2, and 1. So I'm going to heel tap and overhead press. Opposite hand and foot. So yeah, so I decided to put my watch on today to see the calorie burn. Now I didn't put it on for the warm up and I forgot for block 1. Okay, so this is just for the 3 9-minute blocks. I'll tell you what the calorie burn is. Now we do need to keep in mind my height and weight is going to, everybody's height and weight is going to make that number different. Okay, the more you weigh, the more calories you're going to burn. 8 more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, our last one is our side step sumo squats in this series here, okay? So standing side step, alternating sumo squat, or if you're with me seated here, lateral tap, leg extension, leg extension. Begin, here we go. So for me, I and my body, I weigh around 165 pounds and I'm 5'9". Okay, so that, when I tell you the calorie burn, that's based off my body. So you can assume if you weigh less than me, you've burned less calories, okay? And you can assume that if you weigh more than me, you may have burned more calories. And it's also going to be dependent on what, you know, if you're doing this seated or standing, that's going to make a difference. Standing is going to give you a little more of a calorie burn than seated. 3, 2, and 1. That's round 1. Okay, back to the top. Butt kickers with that row. Okay, so seated or standing. Round 2 in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So pull back and kick that heel back like you're trying to hit your butt. It's going to get those hamstrings working, that middle back working, that heart pumping, those joints moving. Healthy, healthy, healthy. Okay. Pass halfway. Ten seconds. 2, and 1. Okay. Take a breather. Next, we're doing that heel tap with the alternating overhead press. You can do this body weight. Remember, it's opposite foot and opposite arm. Okay. 3, 2, and 1. Seated or standing. Get these little calf stretches with this overhead pressing. Working our cognitive, working our brain health right now too, with the opposite hand foot pattern. Right, we create the thought in our mind, right? And then our central nervous system has to tell our muscles to perform and do the movement we're thinking about, right? So that's the connection here. 2, and 1. Okay, that's how your brain is working with this, with your body. All right, last one, side step sumo squats, with or without weight, or you're seated, alternating lateral taps to leg extension. 3, 2, 1, begin. So our toes are pointed out. You're standing here, nice wide squat. Feel your inner and outer thighs working for you, as well as your glutes and your quadriceps here. Move at your own pace. After this, we have one more round to get through before we call it a day. 10 more seconds. 2, and time. Okay, back to the top for our final time. Okay, our butt kicker to mid row. Seated or standing in 3, 2, and 1. The thing you're doing now is the last time you're doing it for today. Past halfway. Ten more seconds. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Next we have that alternating overhead press paired with that heel tap. Okay, opposite hand and foot, with or without weights, seated or standing. Let's get ready. 2, 1, begin. With control and good form, not rushing the movement. Halfway. Almost there, we got 10 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Good, all done with those. Final one, side step sumo squats or your seated lateral tap to leg extension. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You do not need weights to do this. Remember that. Almost there. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, and time. All right, guys. That's a wrap. You can get a quick drink if you want. We're just going to do a very nice cool down here. Okay, so we'll start with the upper body here. I'm going to get a drink. And okay, let me tell you about my calorie burn here. Okay, so wow. Again, this is based off my body, my height and weight. Okay, I'm 5'9", and I'm 165 pounds. And it's also based on me doing some of them standing and seated, okay? And I didn't do our warm-up. My warm-up was not included in this in the first 9-minute block. Here, let's do a neck stretch while I'm talking here. But with those 3 9-minute blocks, I'm at 320 calories. Okay, so again, if you weigh a little bit, if you weigh less, you can assume you burned less calories because you don't have as much body. All right, let's go to the other side. And if you weigh more, you can assume that you may have burned around the same or more, okay? And again, your seated and standing variations are going to impact that as well. You'll burn more calories if you're standing than if you're doing the seated variation. Good, okay, let's go across the front of the shoulder now. And then the same thing, other side. All right, let's go on the underside of the shoulder now, lateral bend. I'm just kind of pulling that wrist up and over towards where the wall and ceiling meet. And just feeling that nice long stretch, like all the way from your hip, all the way on up, okay? And then same thing, other side. Good, last one for the upper body. We're gonna take the palms of our hands, we're gonna place them on the small of our back. We're gonna pull our shoulder blades back so that our heart reaches up towards the ceiling. Place your head wherever it's comfortable, okay? And just feel that stretch through the front of your shoulders and your chest. You'll probably also feel it through your forearms too, from your palms being leveraged on your back there. Nice big inhale and exhale here. Good. All right, and then for our legs real quick, we'll do a hamstring stretch. So if you're seated, you can come to the edge of your chair, okay, just extend that one leg straight and stretch through. Okay, you can do this standing as well. Good, and then either stand up or sit up and just kind of like tap your ankle, just flex and point it a couple times here. 5 times or so, and then repeat on the other side. So either seated or standing, hamstring stretch here. Good, and then come up from that and then just tap it out for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, last stretch, we'll do the hip flexors here. So from that seated position, you're going into your chair, you're going into that lateral leg, and you're bending. You should feel stretching your inner thigh and your groin area here. You can do this from a standing position too here. Kind of just thinking back, holding onto a chair if you need to. Okay, so whatever feels good for you here. I think the seated one's great too. And then bring it back up to center. And then go ahead and get the other side. Again, inner thigh, groin, just trying to open up that whole area. We do a lot of sitting, right? You want to keep that, want to try to keep that flexible and stretched out. It doesn't get too tight. Good. And then bring it back up to center. And that's a wrap today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the class.
Hi, everyone. This is Z from Yonkers Public Library. Thanks so much to Sally Pinto and Alexis and Barbara from Newark. Thank you to our community partners, WJCS, the City of Yonkers Office for the Aging, Westchester County Legislator Ruth Walter, Friends of Crestwood Library, and Yonkers Public Library for making this phenomenal partnership. And we thank each and every one of you for being part of our wellness community. Be well, stay well.